I always say we are the children of a traumatized generation. My parents went through a war. I went through drugs. So you have to go through your period of pain. I want to sing songs which grow flowers or grow trees or clean rivers. Who knows what makes people like what? So I come back from rehab. Suddenly everyone's taking pictures with me, taking my autograph, and my life changed like this,
Long take.
So for me, right, should I talk or just, no, you ask questions. Maybe you ask me questions
I
and
ask
answer.
you a question.
Yes,
First,
that's
maybe
better.
the easiest is, or maybe it's not so easy, to quickly introduce yourself
Myself.
to the
Yes.
listeners.
Yes, of course. I was named Anusheh Anadil as a child. I don't like to identify myself anymore as like a singer or songwriter or musician or artist, because I feel that it's compartmentalizing myself, and so because I have probably learned and unlearned and then learned and unlearned and then still in that continuous process of unlearning, and also sort of shedding my identity instead of finding my identity, which is one of the things that I feel has made me more positive as a person. Because this search for identity is like, who am I, is probably one of the reasons I started singing or creativity or going back to my roots and finding the folk culture. Folk to me is the whole. To me now, like civilized is organize nature in like boxes, take things from trees and water and everything, and then man organizing it their way, almost like the right brain as opposed to the left brain. Left brain is like the computer, the processor, and the right brain is where all the imagination and the music and all the thoughts and everything comes from. So I think that is why I don't like to I don't want to say that I am this or that, because I am not. I'm also, for me, one of the biggest identities for me now is that I'm a mother, and that has been like the most beautiful experience for me ever, more than any art form or anything that I've created, because they're like live children coming out of me and talking to me. now tell me, they give me advice. That's the most beautiful thing that you can experience.
How did these ideas change over the last, because you made you have a long career. I mean, you were well known with the band Bangla. Maybe later we have to say a few words.
Yes, of course, I'll say
about
everything.
it. We go like really from far. We try to get to details maybe. So you were well known. You were also, I think, what I know, outspoken about things. You were and are important to creatives in this country. Some people also, to me, told me that Bangla and you inspired them to go forward, to make what they want to do, things like this. You have now a place here, Chatra.
Jatra is 22 years old. I got lucky because I think we started our career very early. I come from a privileged Bangladeshi family. I don't come from a family, where women don't have rights. Or my mother, my grandmother, even my great-grandmother, were all independent and very strong women. My father's side, we are both Sufis. You know Sufi?
Yes.
So both sides are Sufi families, so there's a lot of enlightenment and wisdom in the way that they raised us. And not in the typical religious way, but with a lot of philosophy and knowing more about myself. And even the women carried that essence in them. So I never grew up with thinking I'm a woman, so I didn't.
Is your family, just quickly, is the family from Dhaka?
Yeah, actually, I wouldn't say that, but India has a very sad past because of the colonization and the British coming and leaving us all broken into segments. So both sides of my family are actually from West Bengal. But after partition, they had to, because the Muslims moved to Bangladesh, so they actually exchanged houses. With the Hindu family moved at their house, they moved into the Hindu family's house. And so since 1947, both sides of my family have been in Bangladesh. But prior to that, they were in India side. So then I don't know, what is identity, right? And then you'll see that before that also they travel from some Iran coming and spreading Sufism. So where are you from anyway?
So you never had this experience that the world is blocked for you as a woman or as a young girl? You were supported by your family?
Yes, I was definitely supported by my family. I was always supported. My family was always skeptical of me because of my choices, my decisions, and I'm not like everybody else. I'm a wild person. So they're also skeptical of me, but they were always understanding of me. And especially as a woman, I know that a lot of women in Bangladesh have struggled, but Bangladesh is also full of really strong women. They're great writers, they're absolutely amazing musicians, singers, songwriters. So and philosophers, there's poets. So I don't think there is any, I never felt that women are, any less than men. So I didn't grow up thinking that I have something to prove. I never had anything to prove as a woman, but just to be myself.
Your mother, I read, for example, she was, and also your father, they were also important figures in the Liberation War.
My grandfather.
And your grandfather. Can you tell to outside viewers a little bit also about this Liberation War and the role of your family?
Yes. So
a cat came here.
So in 1971, Bangladesh was liberated from Pakistan. This is an important point for me and my family because this is when also there's a lot of leftist politics happening in our part of the world. That was actually the force which created that liberation war. So my family belongs to that ideology, which was also to liberate the common man, because the struggle is not between India and Pakistan, to be honest. It's between the poor and the rich, and which is still the same struggle. The rich and the poor, we still haven't come to that space. And so my family was involved in the war. My entire family, my mother, my grandmother, my aunt, they were nursing, they were going all over, treating people. My grandfather was a sector commander, he was fighting. My uncle, he fought the war and then he committed suicide because that's how much trauma he went through. My uncles, everyone. I mean, at that point, it was a full-on war. You're seeing your friends die. I always say we are the children of a traumatized generation, and we really are. If you see our parents, that you know that we are actually so it's nice that our children is at least one. They have us to as the wall between the trauma and then now I think Bangladesh has some sense of identity, even though I don't want to call it identity, but that this is what it means to be Bangladeshi. Because before that we were really Pakistan, before that we were really India. So to think that what is Bangladeshi. It took a long time. And now I think we know very clearly what is. It's where the river meets the sea.
So you said this main policies or vision was to tear down this wall between rich and poor.
The oppressor and the oppressed.
Did you have also, there was this Fakir, I read about Fakir Lalon Shai,
yes.
who seems
This
important
is long time.
to your family,
Not my family.
to you.
To me.
Is that already the weird thoughts?
Huh?
That's already the wild thoughts.
Yes. My family is very civilized, right? So because it's also become, they're also now educated. All that Sufi genetics has sort of gone away because they've become Western educated. They've also traveled all over the world studying, PhD holders and physicists and mathematicians, so that it's more become from here to here. A lot of thinking, research, and writing, so that, and I think my realizations have led me back from here to here. Not so much of the thinking and the researching and finding, because I felt that as a lot of words can be very confusing. Having your brain filled with a lot of knowledge and a lot of ideas, and not being able to filter them, and just being stuck with them, and to learn how to filter. These are the things I learned from people like Fakirs and Lalon Shai, and what to keep, what not to keep. And that's the nice philosophy. And that philosophy you can only know not from writings, but from meeting actual people. It's the Guru Shishya Parampara, which is from guru to student, student to guru, guru to student. It's passed on.
I read that you first started Indian classical
Yes.
music. Is this still something that came from your parents?
Yes. My mother has an organization called Sadhana. So she still runs it. So she used to bring musicians from India to teach here. So this is the difference between my mother and me. But even though I would say both of us have evolved, just as I hope, I hope all of us are evolving. So my mother at that point was very much like Bangladesh has nothing. It's poor. We need to get Indians to come and teach us music. And so this feeling of lack that you're getting, but my experience, because from a very young age, I have been liberated, meaning I go out, I don't listen to anyone. I traveled all over Bangladesh, I've just done anything I wish. And so, and I've met I met people. And I want to say this because this is actually an important part of me, is that I smoke a lot of pot. And I think just that, going into that, finding another world as a woman, which my parents, I don't think my mother or my grandmother found my world, which is a different world. And so that finding the sadhus and introducing them to my mom, oh my God, look at the treasure that you're missing out on, the real treasure of Bangladesh. You don't have to bring Indian artists to teach us how to do singing perfectly. What's the point of it if there is no, what are you saying? If there's no feel in it. So I think my mother also slowly discovered the treasure of Bangladesh.
Through you?
I would say through me and my brother, my younger brother, because we were really exploring. We were going from Mazar to Mazar, we were traveling a lot, mixing with all sorts of people. And I think at that time, I went to Canada my parents sent me to Canada to study, and I dropped out and I came back because I didn't want to, because I could see.
How do you mean you dropped out?
I stopped studying. I was doing architecture and I stopped studying and I came back here because I didn't want to be. I wanted to think for myself, and I had this realization that this, what I was just saying, this compartmentalized way of thinking, that we are constantly taking from nature without any, control, and everything that we have built, from education to every system that humans have built, is around commodifying everything in nature. So you're commodifying everything. From water is a commodity, trees are a commodity, stones, the mountains, everything is something that you can buy and sell, as if they have no spirit of their own, as if they are not connected to us, as if it is separate from us. And those realizations made me come back and actually search for my root. And if I didn't, I wouldn't find Lalon. I wouldn't find my life as a separate identity.
Still an identity. In between, from what I read, you are super outspoken about that you had phases with drug abuse. You decided to speak openly, as far as I read. So between this phase of going out to see about traditions and the people of Bangladesh, was this a phase in between? Was this the turning point, or how did this happen?
I think for me, I am an addictive person, and I still am. But I did have a big phase where I was taking heroin, and that's not good. That's very bad for you. But then at that point, Bangladesh was also being used as a port to go, it was going to everything from Bangladesh. The heroin was super cheap. Everyone was having it, from rickshawalas to truck drivers to everyone is having, because it's so cheap. And it was a problem in everywhere, which still is. Like if you go to places like Rajshahi, and it still is like very cheap. And so, but the good side of it is that it equalizes you. Because I am sitting and having that experience of having heroin with a rickshaw puller or a prostitute, or that I am no longer in my little circle of bubble, civilized, educated. So it did also give me the experience of mixing with so many everybody.
Yeah, so I was, last week I was in the Maldives, and I spent a bit of time in Male. And there is a lot of young and youngish creatives that were also on quite heavy drugs, and that still sound, you don't sound pessimistic at the moment in this interview so far, but they sound very pessimistic. And
I know if you interviewed me like just 10 years ago, I would sound pessimistic, because I'm also involved with a lot of activism. I was Sundarban, I'm doing saving the bowls out on the street with Michil. But I think that sort of energy in me has changed. And I feel that whatever you resist persists. Like with this, like always fighting, and it remains. And it's also when I loosen up my energy and I concentrate more on the things that I want to create, rather than concentrate on the things that I want to destroy, then I am also feeling that sense of lightness, and and then I'm around the things that I love, and that little ripple gets larger, instead of me going out and fighting the things that I don't want, because then it stays. So I think that energy has changed with me becoming a mother. And as I became a mom, I have 2 children, they're 14 and they're 15 and 17, and they don't go to school. I didn't send them to school. And so I spent a lot of time with them, and I think that has transformed me.
Can you remember at the time where this drug abuse started to happen, what made you go inside? Was it a crisis, personal crisis?
I come from one of the reasons my children don't go to school is because I trust them. I think what happens a lot with parents is that we don't trust our children. We trust a system, we trust everything but them. We trust ourselves, we try to push our agenda, our ideas, our everything on them. And for me, that was always claustrophobic. So I think I had a struggle with my family in that regards because I didn't want to study. I dropped out. I didn't want to do Indian classical the way they wanted. I didn't want to do a lot of things that they wanted to impose on me. And so me sort of breaking out and saying, no, I don't want to. And drugs may have been just an excuse to tread out and go my different paths. And of course, it did harm me for a bit, and I have learned a lot from learning to control it or getting, no, I haven't done heroin for 22 years, or I wouldn't be able to use open chatra. So it's been, I think that's why most kids do drugs, because there's something being imposed on them. You're not allowed to be free to think for yourself. You have to go through a system of education, through anything that you can't agree with. You know? So I think a lot of questioning children do drugs. This is what I feel. Because I've met so many, and in rehabs and this and that and everywhere, that you're questioning, you're asking questions, and you want to escape this reality, which is sort of, pushing you to be a certain way. And this is why probably.
And for some people, this escape can work. I think for you, maybe it was an in-between phase that brought you somewhere else. For others, it's
they
fatal.
die.
Yeah.
Yes, others. I have had many friends who died. Because when you do drugs, you have friends who are in jail, friends who have died, friends who have, there are different circumstances. But then that period, like my parents went through a war. I went through drugs. So you have to go through your period of pain. So I think that was my period of self-inflicted pain, more than a war. And that period, if you don't go through it, then there's a saying by Rumi, is that, is it Rumi? I don't know. It's the places, I don't know, where the darkness is within you, that's where the light enters, Like, or the crack, like that kintsugi, those Japanese ceramics, when they break and they put it together with gold, and it looks nice, more beautiful. So that breaking is also important in order to grow again in different way. And I think that process, I feel now, and that it's constant, like to have no philosophy, like what it is will be the great equalizer, like you're white, you're Swiss, or someone from Africa, or no matter where, at the essence we are all the same. And that equalizer doesn't come if we are not questioning, who am I? The first question is, who am I? And then, we are always staying outside, we're not ever looking inside. So it's like this universe is a great projection of what I am inside. So if I am filled with turbulence and filled with a lot of it, what I project will also be such. So you can't work it outside in. It has to work inside out. So when I calm myself, my world gets calmer. But if I am also part of the chaos, then my world is a chaos. So the responsibility falls upon each one of us to find that balance between whether you call it feminine or masculine or dark and light, and because we are the dual, to find that the middle ground, the middle present moment.
There's also different ways to change a society or to protest against something. You can shout, you can fight. Does the way that you are doing to try to create a balance and not to be stressed, do you think it can work as well?
Of course, and I see it. I already see it working in a very creative way, where so many artists, so many musicians, that if we don't do we have to be in the creative. Either you're in the destructive or in the creative. So I think using that space to do all the creative things, and look at the people I'm surrounded with. And this is nothing, there's more. In the village and you go everywhere. You'll see, I only see beautiful people. Beautiful people making beautiful things, making beautiful music. And that's how things change, Like slowly, slowly. And also it's not about outside, it's about me also changing, or me knowing myself more and more, or I don't know.
So these travels, you started traveling around the country, meeting like singers, poets, very thinkers, I
because
guess.
I started writing songs quite young, and my songs were about exactly what I'm talking about. And so when I started singing them to my friends, they told me you should go to Kushtia, because they're singing exactly what you're saying. So then,
do you have an example, for example, from one of these songs that you would have sung back then, and what the similarity is?
Okay, so
or maybe even you can sing it. I don't know if you want to sing. You don't need to.
Okay, but you won't understand. It's in Bangla.
Maybe you can sing and translate some lines.
All right. Oh, ki dila mahajan. কি অসাধারণ আয়োজন, জানি না ঠিকানাটাও, তীর্থে বেরোই তোমার আশায়, ডানে তোমার স্নেহের ছোঁয়া, বামে কুৎসিত চেহারা, মাঝখানেতে তোমার ছায়া, সে যে মায়া কি মায়া. So it's basically about কি দিলা মহাজন, or I'm seeking. This is like my first song ever. So seeking. Mahajan is the creator, not creator, or whoever created this world. Mahajan is the landlord, more like the landlord. Mahajan, ki oshadharon ayojon, like what a magnificent creation. And Jani, I don't know my destination, but yet I am on a pilgrimage. Yet I go on this pilgrimage, and then it goes on my my right is your compassion or your love. On my left is your kutshit, your gruesome, chaotic, ugly, and in the middle is the Maya, and the crashes, the two crashes, and I can see this technicolor explosion of creation, And so this was And then it goes on to like how zero is infinity, infinity is zero. And so it goes really weird. When I sang this to my song, they told me that I should meet the Baus. And then when I saw, I'm like, okay, these are my best friends. This is my soul tribe. I don't know. I don't belong in Dhaka. I belong here. Because everything I'm thinking, they're thinking, or that philosophy which I never met. Because when we were young, how you see in Bangladesh, Bengal has changed. Both sides of Bengal. The fakirs were hidden. We never saw them because the urban Bengal was very different from rural Bengal. Urban Bengal is with the harmonium, you're singing Robindra Sangeet and, and then in your sari with your big teep and your, and very, hard, difficult words in Bengali, which villagers will not understand because it's written too complicated. So lots of songs, but its culture of the urban was different from the culture of the rural. And for me and my friends to discover this was actually the most beautiful thing ever. Because and also sort of blending in with them and becoming their friends. That after that, I was always just with them, smoking my chillam and singing. It was the best. So I think it was good for both, for them also to be exposed to have that connection. For us, so definitely, because we were just so stuck in our belief system, urban Bengal.
Is these people are also people that are asking a lot of questions in a way and are curious because you are this young woman coming from an elite family from urban.
Yes,
for them you're an alien, I guess.
They still call me Ma, so I am all their mother. And I was very young, but when I'm singing these songs, they love me. Like, so the big gurus and sadhus have always been like, always taking care of me. They've given me advice what to sing, what to do. Because it's been, and I've never taken a guru like that. You are my guru. They're all my friends. Because my biggest gurus are my 2 children, actually, to be honest. They are my gurus. And so I've never, but a lot of my friends, they have gurus. They're part of the Guru Shishya Parampara. But for me, some of the biggest sadhus of Bangladesh were my very good friends who are no more. And so I've traveled all over Bangladesh in these sadhu sanghas. If you have to go to one of them or you won't believe it. You are here, you have to go. So it goes, so all sadhu sanghas, it's basically the sadhus invite whoever they invite. I'll ask them to invite you. And then there's this whole, everybody starts music, and for a while there's a trance-inducing session where everybody goes into a trance just with music, and then the singing starts. And it happens for 3 nights, constant. So by the end of it, you're in a trance-induced space because you're waking up and you're singing early in the morning, again singing late at night, then scamping and sleeping for a little bit, again waking up and singing. And so it gets, and it's beautiful, it's chaotic because it's thousands of people sometimes. Sometimes it's 20,000 people, 40,000. You're walking through Bangladesh is crazy. Bangladesh is not Europe. Not at all. But then if you have the eyes to see, Bangladesh is also very beautiful. Because it's like mirror world, Like it's, and one of my children's friends who just went to Netherlands to study, all my children are also enlightened, so he said that, the West is about the outer, the East is about the inner, which is why it looks better there, but it feels better here.
No, and I guess
Which was very interesting.
I guess also one of the one could probably call it a tragedy is like in a place like this, people are exposed to much more also variety political difficulties.
Of course.
But it teaches them also a lot. So people are very educated, maybe not in a Western stay, but educated by life, you know.
Like the tacit knowledge of farmers, of weavers, of people who make, these are not things that we appreciate anymore. You know, like somebody who makes pottery. And so what he will do is he will send his son, he will sell his land, send his son to Dhaka to go to university so that he's no longer a potter or he's no longer a farmer, he's no longer a weaver, because this is why my children don't go to school, because that system teaches you that you are better off if you're sitting in front of a desk, in front of a computer, that your life is better. You know, without your land, you sell your land, your beautiful piece of land with a little pond where you have fish, you have some vegetables, that it's better you sell that, you send your son to university, and then you have a little tiny apartment in A when you have one TV maybe, and a fridge, and you can see some mobile phone applications, and it's better. But it's an ideological problem, I guess, that we have. The value has gone to that. And I think our work is to bring that back, you know, to value those things, value just farming, weaving. Like, these are the basic things, no? Like, what's the point of, you know, all this education if we can't even value, if we can't even keep our little pond clean, or the river is constantly being disturbed and you're filling it up for one more plastic factory or one more detergent factory, and that you lose everything because of that.
When we look at products, careers, one of the highlights of your careers where you were starting to get known and you were in media and things like this was the band Bangla.
Yes, Bangla was formed in 1996, and our album came out in 2002, which was 20 years ago, right? 2002. And at that time, I was heavily into drugs. So I wasn't even here. I was in rehab or something. And we didn't know what we were doing. So the album is called King Kortobu Bimuro, which literally means I don't know what the hell I'm doing. It's this one huge word which means this. So we made this album, which we were also seeking. But who knows what makes people like what, right? It's a mystery. So I come back from rehab. Suddenly everyone's taking pictures with me, taking my autograph, and my life changed like this, you know? I don't know. This is like at one moment I'm just singing, writing, or creating something, not doing it for it. And I have a crazy bunch of friends we're doing it with. But just like that, our lives completely flipped with just one album. It was one of the biggest selling albums, not just in Bangladesh and West Bengal. So we are equally famous in India, right? So both sides of Bengal suddenly became a sensation. And then when we performed a lot together.
Did you like performing?
At that point, yes. At that point, I really liked performing. And and we were performing a lot, traveling a lot, performing everywhere. And we did. But throughout the process, like I think my friends and I separated because of our ideological differences. Like my band is now doing Coke Studio. I don't want to do Coke Studio. So that's the difference. So it's this is the only reason, because I think I was singing, songs were also saying this. So anyone who was listening to what I'm saying. So people who actually were hearing also understand why I am saying no to Coke Studio, because I already said it in my song. So it's like that. But we did perform for a long time. But the career path of music is you make money by doing things like this. Or it's difficult to. I'm lucky I have Jatra. If you're just doing music, to have shows without corporate backing is very difficult. It's difficult to make a living.
And how was this translation from the folk tradition, from the songs, the poems that you learned, that you were in contact with people? How did you translate this into the Bangla band, you would say?
We were singing a lot of Lalon Shai songs, a lot of the songs by, like I said, the rural culture was different. We didn't even know these songs. We didn't even know these songs. So to suddenly know these songs and to learn some amazing songs and to bring it here and sing it ourselves. And another thing that we did is we also brought them. I did, at least. I started singing with a lot of, like Rob Fakir, Nozrul Bhai, Kangalini Sufia, Shofi Mondol. Some of the big, voices and philosophers started singing with me and traveling with me wherever we were going. So that brought them into the urban sphere. And then now there's a whole generation. Like now I meet people who are, 20 years younger than me, and they seem like, like how it's almost like some seed that we planted, and now these people are just automatically like that. They already think like this.
Yeah, some people already said after some days that I'm here that you and the band were influential and important for them.
We were. I don't know how. I mean, because we were also seeking, I think. We were seeking and we were questioning. And anyone who was seeking, and our second album, Protyutpanno Motitu, which means I know exactly what I'm doing. The first one says, I don't know what I'm saying. Second one is, I know exactly what I'm saying. This is the only 2 albums we ever made. And Protyutpanno Motitu is Songs of Lalon Shai, which is basically questioning all of reality and religion. And now I hear so many young people who's like, my mom used to get so mad at me when I would listen to this album. I used to hide and listen to it because it's questioning religion. And then we were so stuck in this, but the beauty of Lalon Shai or the Fakiri or the Sufi tradition is I also have so many absolutely hijabi, niqabi fans. They wear full burqa and have beard and tupi and are my fans because it's philosophy. I'm a believer. I'm not a non-believer. I am a complete believer. So that connection is very much there. And I think this is the way we can change the world, is by finding that thread that connects everyone, and which is in every religion, which is in basically nature. Nature is connected. And this is the beauty of newer generations, that they see that whole, that it's not separated. That, how Ayurveda or Chinese medicine or all that is coming back because it sees the body as a whole. It's not compartmentalized. You don't have heart medicine and your liver is damaged. You don't have brain medicine, this is damaged. It's all connected. So that all that is coming back, I feel.
Now that you're looking back, at the moment, in the US it started, and also in Europe, there's this huge discussion about cultural appropriation, that someone that is not from a certain culture or society shouldn't take their music and sing it on stage. What do you think of this discussion? Is it something that you read about or heard about? And what is your thoughts about?
I think I have some idea about what that is. But so I would say Bangla would, to some in the beginning, look like cultural appropriation because we are taking from the village and then bringing it into the urban sphere. But then maybe a lot of people did criticize it in the beginning, people who are very strict about purist, that this belongs. But then it's also positive because that created the bridge, like if it didn't come, sometimes the culture appropriation is the bridge that brings that culture over to some other culture. But then if it is something used, like to give me a negative example of culture, because I know negative examples.
For example,
also.
I think, first of all, in your case, it's very positive that you give credits, Then I think it's opening a door, it's an homage. I think the problem starts when you say these lyrics are from me or things
then
like
that's
this.
Of course
For example, the Beatles, they recorded some albums with Indian musicians, and you can read on the liner notes some Indian musicians,
Oh, really?
Yes.
Is that what it says?
It says some Indian musicians. And these albums sold millions of copies, and I know people of Indian origin in the UK who know these Indian musicians, and that's really not nice, to say the least,
Definitely. But then also because of the Beatles, Ravi Shankar is such a huge sensation across the world, and everybody listens to the sitar. And then there's so many Westerners who are playing the sitar really well, that's there too. I feel there's a reason for everything, It may seem bad now, but then how else are you supposed to reach, But I feel it's nice that a Japanese person gets to play the dotara and be a baul, And I have seen a whole ashram full of Japanese people who speak perfect Bengali, sing Lalon songs perfectly, and then live in mud houses and play the dotara and wear all white and sing baul songs. I think that's fine. And that's the new world that we are going to see emerge more and more, that we can belong anywhere. The earth is not, it's their cultures, and I can take on anything.
No, I agree, and I'm only asking. I wonder what you think. The main difficulty of cultural appropriation is if it involves stealing. If you take a song, another song is maybe, but then it's just a question of quality. I think if a band invested more time to really learn a language and to sing in a certain style, then it's more valuable.
Of course.
Than someone just taking a sample and put it on a beat.
That happens a lot with baul songs these days also. Because now it's popular, so everybody... And it's true that a lot of people are not listening to the songs. So they're just trying to create music. So one of my very beautiful experiences as a young person is when I first started singing and I met the Shadhus. And I sang a whole song and I'm thinking I'm singing really well. And the senior Shadhu, he calls me and he said, "Ma, sit next to me." And I sit next to him and he says, "You sang really well. It's beautifully sung. But I don't know how to say it in English. You sang it beautifully, but you sang it, but I didn't hear you." And so and it was like, "What do you mean you didn't hear me?" And I'm young, so I got it because I sang it, but I'm not saying it, to be able to say it is more important. And if you're just singing it, you're singing it. Everybody's also just entertained by. So if you want to be heard, then you have to say it, not just sing it, and know it, feel it, and.
You mean you need to translate the emotion and the knowledge behind something into the song, and not just the surface.
Not just
the
feeling. Surface.
Yeah,
because there's a difference between just singing and entertaining, and then singing and transforming. Or any performance has the capacity to transform you, and then any has the capacity to also entertain you. But then I'm for the transformation part.
Me too.
But these songs are very deep. It's just unreal, because it's really questioning my body, my spirit, the elements inside me of fire moving, and the water and the sky, and there's this huge correlation to Ayurveda and Sanatan, the Shahojiya. It's very derived from that tradition. Ami nambo jole sataro katibo go, gayete na lagabo jol. Ami nambo jole sataro katibo go, gayete na lagabo jol. ব্যঞ্জন হইয়াই আমি নাচবো হাড়ির তল, ব্যঞ্জন হইয়াই আমি নাচবো হাড়ির তল, আবার লাকড়ি হইয়া জালে ঠেলিব গো, ওই আবার লাকড়ি হইয়া জালে ঠেলিব গো, ও তার ত্যাজে কি করিবি বল, গায়েতে না লাগাবো জল। আমি নামবো জলে সাঁতারও কাটিব গো, গায়েতে না লাগাবো জল। When COVID happened, this was my favorite song. So it was because the song is about Ami Nambo. I will go into the water, but what I will not let the water touch me. Then I will be the pot on the fire and be cooked, but I will not let the fire touch me. Or in the river of greed, there is a dam, but in the river of love it's overflowed, and it's like when snake bites you, but then you know how to absorb the poison and just detox yourself. I don't know how to. Bengali is very different from English, so to translate is extremely difficult.
So if you're a woman and an artist in Bangladesh, well known through this band Bangla, what happens?
What happens?
What happens? Is it a constant pressure? Is there things that were difficult? Is this partly also why you left? I think for sure it's not the main reason, because you probably wanted to be there, but is it partly also why you left the city?
As a woman, I wouldn't say, because I haven't felt that difference as a woman. So, but as maybe because I am also oblivious. I'm good at omitting. I look at things I want to. I don't look at things I don't want to. So, but I'm lucky that I have that quality. But as an artist, Bangla was maybe overwhelming after a while, because it's too many people, and I am a private person. I like my privacy. I like I also like my freedom, meaning ability to just walk out of my house and walk, get on a bus, go somewhere without somebody wanting to take my picture constantly, or and so that sense of privacy is nice for me. And that now that I don't sing as much, I have that privacy and freedom again, that my children, no one's questioning me, why don't your children go to school? But if I'm constantly in the media, then everybody would question me, that, or if I'm on social media, which I am not on social media either, that people would be asking me too many questions, that I wouldn't have the privacy to live my life the way I am. And so this is why I'm doing this, which is simplifying my life. And it's been a nice journey. Even, I had 3 jatras. I closed the 2 other, and I brought everything here and literally been simplifying. And the simplifying has made me calmer and less pessimistic.
What do you hope for the future? What do you hope for yourself?
What do I hope for myself? I don't know. I want to sing songs which grow flowers. Or grow trees. Or clean rivers. Or make everything fresh and vibrant again. And beautiful. Yeah, it's not fast, right? The process of creation is slow. And you'll see upstairs that there's a sign saying slow revolution. That Jatra is, we are part of the slow, everything is moving really fast. And we choose to go very slow. Nature is slow. Nature is not fast.
Let's stop here. I think we could talk forever, but we don't want to take too much of your energy as well.
That was fun actually, guys, talking to you.